master, wrong me not nor wrong yourself, to make a bondmaid and a slave of me, that I disdain. But for these other goods, unbind my hands, I'll pull them off myself. Ye all my raiments to my petticoat, or what you will command, I will do. So well I know my duties to my elders.
Of all thy suitors here, I charge thee tell whom thou lovest best. See thou dissemble not.
Believe me, sister, of all the men alive, I have yet beheld that special face that I fancy more than any other.
Minion, thou liest. Is not Hortensio?
Respect him, sister, I swear I'll plead for you myself, but you shall have him.
Oh, then you be like fancy which is more. You shall have Gremio to keep you fair.
Is it for him you envy me so? Nay, then you jest, and now I perceive well that you have jested with me all this while. I prithee, Kate, untie my hand.
If that was jest, and all the rest was so.
Why, how now, dame? Whence grows this insolence? Bianca, stand aside. Poor girl, she weeps. Go ply thy needle, meddle not with her. For shame, thou hiding of a devilish spirit. Why dost thou wrong her? She never did wrong thee. When did she cross thee with a bitter word?
Your silence flouts me, and I'll be revenged.
What am I sight, Bianca? Get thee in.
Will you not suffer me? Nay, now I see, she is your treasure. She must have a husband. I must dance barefoot on her wedding day. And your love for her lead apes in hell. Talk not to me. I will sit and weep till I can find occasion for my revenge.
Whatever gentleman thus grieved is I, but who comes here? We will walk a little to the orchard, and then to dinner. Your passing welcome, and so I pray you all to think yourselves.
Signor Baptista, my business asketh haste, and every day I cannot come to woo. You knew my father well, and in him me, left solely heir to all of his lands and goods, which I have bettered rather than decreased. So tell me, if I get your daughter's love, what dower shall I have to what?
After my death, the 1/2 of my land, and in my possession 20,000 crowns.
And for that dowry, I'll assure her of widower, be it that she survive me. And all my lands and leases whatsoever, let specialties be therefore drawn between us, that covenants may be kept on either hand.
Aye, and when that special thing is well obtained, that is her love, for that is all in all.
Why, that is nothing, for I tell you, Father, I am as peremptory as she is proud-minded, and where two raging fires meet, together they do consume the things they feeds their fury. With little fires grow great with little wind, yet extreme gusts will blow out fire and all. So I to her, so she yields to me, for I am as rough and woo, not like a
What
babe.
mayst thou woo, and happy be thy speed, but thou be armed for some unhappy words.
To the proof as mountains are winds that shake not though they blow perpetually.
Why now, my friend, why dost thou look so pale?
For fear I promise you if I do look pale.
What, will my daughter prove a good musician?
I think she'll sooner prove a soldier. Iron may hold with her, but never lutes.
Why then, thou canst not break her to the lute?
Why no, for she hath broke the lute to me. I did but tell her she mistook her frets, and bowed my hand to teach her fingering, when with most impatient devilish spirit, "Frets call you these," quoth she. "I'll fume with them." And with that word she struck me on the head, and through the instrument my pate made way. And there I stood, amazed for a while, as if on a pillory, looking through the lute, while she did call me rascling fiddler, and twingling jack, with 20 other vile such terms as she studied to misuse me so.
Now, by the world, it is a lusty wench. I love her 10 times more than ever did. Oh, how I long to have some chat with her.
Action.
Well, go with me, and be not so discomfited. Proceed and practice with my younger daughter. She is apt to learn, and thankful for good turns. Signor Patricio, will you go with us, or shall I send my daughter Kate to you?
I pray you do. I'll attend her here. And woo her with some spirit. When she comes, say that she rails. Why, I'll tell her plain she sings as sweetly as a nightingale. Say that she'll frown, and I'll say she looks as clear as morning roses newly washed with dew. Say she'll be mute, and she will not speak a word, and then I will command her valuability. And if she said, uttering piercing eloquence, if she do bid me pack, I'll give her thanks, as though she bid me stay by her week. And if she deny to wed, I'll crave the day when I shall ask the bands, and when be married, but there she comes. And now Petruchio speaks. In these passages, excerpted from Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shrew, Catherine gains power over someone who fears her shrew behavior, but loses her status above others who do not. In Act 2, Scene 1, lines 1 through 41, Catherine has Bianca tied up, degrading and interrogating her in order to gain power over her sister. Shortly into the altercation, Baptista comes to Bianca's rescue. He scolds Catherine's malicious behavior, asking why Bianca deserves such treatment. Catherine becomes upset that Bianca's good behavior exploits her bad behavior, leaving Bianca as a favorite child. Later, in lines 118 to 148, Petruchio and Baptista arrange a dowry for Catherine's hand in marriage. Petruchio will only receive the dowry when he wins Catherine's heart. Then, in lines 149 to 176, Hortensio, as Lydio, a music teacher, comes to the scene with the smashed lute on his head. He explains that Catherine has become temperamental when he tried to correct her fingering on the instrument. She gained the desired power over Hortensio that she wanted by striking fear through his core. Petruchio is amused by Catherine's actions and wishes even more to wed her. He looks forward to the challenge of taming Catherine as his new wife. Catherine will soon lose her status above Petruchio because he is not afraid of her behavior and is determined and willing to tame her. Paraphrasing, lines 1 through 41. Bianca says, "You are only hurting yourself when you hurt me, to make a slave of me. I hate this. Untie my hands. I will take the rope and all the things you disapprove of off, or what you will tell me to do. I know what I am supposed to be doing." Catherine says, "Tell me who you love the most. I want to see you hurt." Bianca says, "Believe me, Catherine, I have not yet found true love." Catherine says, "You are a hussy. You lie. Don't you love Hortensio?" Bianca says, "If you like him, then you can have him. I will vouch for you, and you will get him." Catherine says, "Oh, then you like money more. You will use Gremio's money to keep you fair." Bianca says, "Is Gremio the reason you envy me?" "No, you are joking. I can see it now. You have fought with me this whole time. I beg you then, sister, untie my hands." Then Catherine hits Bianca. Catherine says, "If I was mocking you and only joking, then I would have gone through all this trouble." Baptista comes in. Baptista says, "What is going on, girls? When did this fight happen?" Bianca moves aside and says to Catherine, "Look, you've made your sister cry." Unties Bianca and says to Bianca, "Don't try to argue with her. Just go and sew and do your work." And to Catherine he says, "Why are you being so mean to her when I am not around? What did she do to deserve this? She never said or did anything mean to you." Catherine says, "Her good behavior mocks me and makes me seem worse. I'll get revenge on her." And she attacks Bianca. Baptista says, "What in the world? Bianca, run. Get out of here." Catherine says, "Will you not tolerate me? Now I see why. She is your favorite. She has to get a good husband, and I have to be nice when she gets married. Because you favor her, I have to live like all other unmarried women. Leave me alone. I'll be sad until I can execute my revenge." She leaves. And Baptista says, "What other man has such problem with his daughter as this? Who is that coming?" Paraphrasing lines 118 to 189, Baptista says, "We will walk a bit in the orchard and have dinner. You are welcome for this opportunity to please my daughter. I pray you think things through wisely when speaking to my daughter." Petruchio says, "Signor Baptista, my business cannot be hurried as you want it to be. I have not yet wooed Catherine. You knew what my father was like, so you basically know me. I was left all of his riches, so you can trust she will be in good hands. I have also increased the value of his goods, instead of wasting them. If Catherine and I fall in love, what money do you offer for her hand in marriage?" Baptista says, "When I die, you will get half of my riches, and right now 20,000 crowns. Petruchio says, "For that money I will make sure
She is well off if I die before her. Let a contract be placed between us, and one that will benefit us both. Baptista says, okay, but this contract is only good if you keep up your end, which is earning her love. Petruchio then says, don't worry, my father. I can handle this. I am imperious as much as she is stubborn. We are both like fires that will burn bright together, accomplishing great things. But rough issues can extinguish our love. So we will make sure to nourish one another. I am rough and won't give up like a baby. Baptista says, good luck. She can be very degrading. Baptista said, I am made for her. I am not fazed by her repeated behavior. Hortensio as Lydia with an injured head from a lute comes in. Baptista says, what is wrong? Why are you pale? Hortensio says, if I look pale, it must be from fear of your daughter Catherine. Baptista says, do you think Catherine will be a good lute player? And Hortensio then says, I think she'd make a better soldier than a musician. She's better with deadly weapons than instruments. Baptista says, why not? You can't make her play a lute? Hortensio says, no, she hit me in the head with this lute. I told her she was playing it wrong, and when I tried to correct her, she swore and hit me over the head with the lute. My head went all the way through it. For a second, I was so shocked I stood there speechless looking through the lute. Then she called me so many awful names in anger. Petruchio says, I love her more than ever now that I've seen what she can do. I can't wait to speak with her. Baptista says, Lydia, just teach my younger daughter. She will learn and not be violent. Petruchio, do you want to come with us to Kate, or shall I send her out here to you? Petruchio says, why don't you just send her out here? I'll be waiting. Everyone leaves but Petruchio. He speaks to the audience. I'll be super nice and friendly and wooing her. I'll contradict all of her statements and flatter her to win her love. Here she comes, and now she will speak to her.
Catherine gains power over some characters by using fear, but loses her power over those who are not afraid to contend against her. Catherine is able to subdue her younger sister Bianca with fear as she interrogates and abuses her. However, her father is not afraid of her actions and is able to scold her. After her father reprimands her, there are a few more altercations between the two sisters, showing that Catherine has obeyed her father. She had to obey him because she could not gain power over him using her anger and violence. Hostility and enraged frenzies are all she has to effectively gain her authority. She only achieves her goal of dominance when characters submit to her after being frightened. Characters who do not tolerate her behavior and challenge her authority are able to gain power over her. Petruchio is another example of a character who does not allow Catherine to have what little power she can attain with her orny demeanor. Petruchio tames Catherine by stripping her of all the advantages she has over him. She does this by meeting and exceeding her rude and sharp conduct. All women of the Shakespearean era were expected to be perfect, and if not, they were tamed by the undeniable large power of society, men. Catherine was one of the many women who dared to step outside the expectations of a woman during that era. Sadly, she proved to be tamed. Or was she? Catherine may have been able to be tamed by some people, such as her father and her husband. However, to others who gave in to her temptations of fear, it was another story.